us versus them issue in the book. I mean, I've read it. We've talked about this a little bit. It does have this feel. It's so us versus them, and the antithesis so strong in the book. That doesn't always seem to, we live in interesting times in America. We see a shifting culture, a changing culture. But it doesn't, when we read Revelation and we see the us versus them, how are we to understand that in light of our experience in the governments of this world and how we live as Christians in the world in light of the opposition? I guess my question is maybe it's because all these discussions on Christian nationalism are so fresh in my head. Is the state always in its worst form? Is the world always in its worst form and assaulting us? Is that how we're to read the book of Revelation? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's a great way of putting it. Is the book of the Revelation saying the world is always in its worst form? And I think the answer is no. But I think the book of the Revelation is saying the world is always opposed to us. Mm-hmm. And that opposition may take different forms. God has a restraining grace that holds back, often in history, the state from becoming the worst it can be.
Right.
And we always have to bear in mind that no one book of the Bible tells us everything the Bible wants to tell us. So we have to see the book of the Revelation in relation to other books as well. One of the things that struck me is there's almost no call to evangelism in the book of the Revelation. It's sort of like everybody has taken sides and the two sides are at war, and that's just the way it is. There may be one or two verses that can sound slightly evangelistic.
And maybe in the churches, right? Some of the...
Yeah, right. And
the address to the churches.
But basically, as you said, this is a they book. And it's because it is written, I think, in a time when a lot of churches were experiencing real and sometimes quite severe persecution. And so it's intended to help the churches in those times to survive, to persevere.